key themes in Genesis 1 to 11. By Dr. G. John Daniel.
Section 7. The Table of Nations. Genesis chapter 10, also known as the Table of Nations, offers an account of the post-flood spread of humanity, tracing the lineage of Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. This chapter is highly significant as it serves as a bridge between the primeval history of Genesis chapter 1:11 and the patriarchal narratives that follow. It also provides a snapshot of the ancient Near Eastern world as understood by the Hebrews, listing 70 nations that are said to have descended from Noah's family. This passage serves multiple functions. 1. Genealogical function. Genesis chapter 10 lays the groundwork for understanding the genealogical relationships between different tribes and nations. 1. This can offer insight into the background of various biblical events. 1. For example, knowing that Israel and Edom are related through Jacob and Esau provides context for their interactions. 2. Theological function. The Table of Nations reiterates the universal scope of God's plan. 2. Despite the curse of Canaan and the Tower of Babel incident, God's sovereignty reigns over all nations, not just Israel. 3. Anthropological function. The list seems to reflect an understanding of the geopolitical and ethnic realities of the time. 3. It provides a glimpse into the diversity of human communities and the complexity of their relations, which can sometimes be seen in later biblical events. 4. Ethical function. The chapter may serve as a reminder that, although different nations have different destinies and roles in the biblical narrative, they all share a common humanity and are subject to the same divine laws and moral responsibilities. 5. Prophetic function. For some interpreters, the Table of Nations sets the stage for the fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant, including the promise that all nations will be blessed through Abraham's seed. Genesis chapter 12 verse 3. 6. Literary function. The Table of Nations acts as a transitional element that connects the universal themes in the early chapters of Genesis with the particularistic focus on Abraham and his descendants that will dominate from Genesis chapter 12 onwards. Understanding the Table of Nations enhances our comprehension of the biblical worldview, showing how the Israelites understood themselves in relation to other nations and how God's covenant with Abraham fits into a broader context of divine governance over the entire world. It offers a foundation for the rest of the biblical narrative, anchoring the story of Israel within a larger history of humanity. Christian response. This table offers Christians a comprehensive worldview, emphasizing that God's governance and moral laws are universal. The Table of Nations thus serves as a theological foundation for understanding humanity's interconnectedness and diversity under God's sovereignty. It also lays the groundwork for the unfolding story of salvation that starts from Abraham and extends to all nations, fulfilling God's promise. Both the Tower of Babel and the Table of Nations narratives enrich our understanding of human diversity, divine judgment, and God's overarching plans for humanity. They reiterate the notion that while humanity often errs, God's sovereignty and grace are the guiding forces that redirect and sustain us, always inviting us back into relationship and obedience with Him.